All right, so our next task is to actually create those big KPI values, those cards that we're going to put on top of the backgrounds that we created at the top of our report. So to do that, let's head to the Insert menu, and we're going to be looking at the card visual here, which you'll find under the Gauge, Card, and KPI options that you'll see here. There are two different cards that I'll walk you through right now. There's the single card, which is great for showing one single big value. In this case, that's what we're going to be using. Or you have a multi-row card, which is good if you want to show multiple values inside of the same visual. So again, we're going to stick with the basic card for this demo. And if you select the visual, you'll see these two kind of buttons that we're going to talk about in a bit more depth in just a minute. But this is where you can actually build your visual. You're adding data into the visual to populate it. And in this case, card is a very, very simple visual. It's about as simple as it gets. You basically have just one place where you can drop data in this fields pane here. And this is really cool. You can click to add data. And what Power BI does is it pulls your field list right here, so you don't have to activate or navigate to that data pane. And in this case, our first card is going to be showing total revenue. So I love to use the search box here to quickly navigate my tables and measures. Here's total revenue, give it a click, and boom, it's added it to this card. Now, one nice feature is that you can actually rename the measures in the visual itself without changing the actual definition of the measure. And this is going to be nice to just change the label. I want to do all caps revenue. I think that's just a better fit for these KPIs. And last thing we'll do is apply some formatting. So you'll notice this other button here with visual elements. This is contextual based on the visual you're looking at. And it's basically going to show you a list of common features or elements that you can activate or disable. Or you can click more options, which is typically what I do. That's going to open up your format pane where you can access all of those different settings and configuration options to format the visual. So we're going to make a couple updates here. Remember, this is going to be sitting on top of that dark background. So the first thing I want to do is turn off the card background so that it's essentially transparent. Next thing I'm going to do is make some updates to the callout values and to the labels. We're going to be using a different font here instead of the default. I love the Seago UI font. And let's drop it down to a font size of 38. Make it nice and bold to pop. And we're going to be using this kind of Maven blue here. And to access that exact color, if you want to match my styling, you can head to more colors and plug in a hex code here. This one is 20 E2 D7. That'll give you that nice bright blue teal color. And one other very helpful feature here is the value decimal places. And it's worth calling out that this changes the precision of the value inside of the visual, but it doesn't change the data type or format itself, which is great. And in this case, I want this to be a little bit more precise than just the rounded whole number. So let's change this to one decimal place, 24.9 million. Looks great. Now category label, last thing here. I'm going to bump the size down a bit to size 9. And we're going to change the color to white. Again, because it's going to be sitting on top of that dark gray background. And that's looking pretty good. So we can drag it kind of roughly in place here. And that's one down, 3 to go, right? But instead of going back to insert and adding a new default card and changing the formatting again, we can be more efficient than that, right? Let's select that card we just built, Control C to copy, V to paste 3 more times. And now note that it preserves all that formatting that we did. So now all we need to do is swap out the actual measure being visualized and we should be good to go. So this one was revenue. Let's remove revenue from this one and let's add total profit. There we go. And just like before, we'll rename this one or relabel it profit all caps. That looks good. I'm not worried too much about alignment just yet. And we can go ahead and continue this process. This one's going to show total orders, which is right here. Rename it orders, all caps. Drag it roughly into position here. And then last one, let's show return rate here. So it's kind of a different view of the data that's still helpful at a high level. And oops, not returns. We want return rate, which is right here. Note that it kind of auto formats based on the data type. These all actually look pretty good with that 1 decimal point level of precision. And now let's go back to those format alignment tools again. I've got my first and my last card in a good spot. So I can kind of hold shift, select all four, head to format. I'm going to align the tops. I'm going to distribute horizontally. That's going to put them perfectly aligned on top of those dark backgrounds. So I'm really happy with how this looks. Last thing I want to do just for organization is to do a bit more grouping in our selection pane. So we could rename these cards if we wanted to. I think we can skip that step for now. But what I will do is group these four together, group them into KPI values, and then we can actually take that group and the KPI backgrounds group and group those into an even higher level group called KPIs. And if we drill down, you'll see the groups and the objects within each of those groups. So nice work. We've added our KPIs to the executive dashboard. Things are starting to come together.